to California. My father had passed away. This was in 2012 with cancer. He got diagnosed with cancer, colon cancer, and he passed away. But right before he passed away, I was already planning on moving out here, and he pushed me. You should go. You should go. After he passed away, my mom was kind of like, "You sure you want to leave us? You know, you're the man of the family. You know." But I told my mom, but I still believe that my destiny is still out there, so I have to go and find it. The year I moved out here, a few months after I got here, got the phone call. My mom got diagnosed with breast cancer. So I debated, you know, going back home. I'm like, Lord, I know you didn't bring me out here this far just to, you know, leave me hanging and have me to go back, you know. And so my mom, thank God, she's God healed her.
Amen.
We believe in the healing power of Christ.
Yes.
And thank God she is healed. She's a year healed.
Amen.
And so I moved out here with one of my friends, and that we went to grad school with. Currently, I had just stepped out on faith. Sometimes that's a big thing to do.
Yes.
But you also have to be mindful of what you actually stepping out, the faith that you step out on. Because it's one thing to step out on faith, but it's another thing to step out on faith and not get the confirmation from God.
There you go.
You know,
right.
I feel that I stepped out on faith without getting confirmation from God. It was more like pressure from friends.
I understand.
You know, come on.
Right.
And I never consulted with God. So we have to always be mindful to consult with God before we make moves.
That's good.
So once I came and relocated here, and I stayed with my friend, and there was an altercation with my friend, and I got put out. So here I am, living in a place where I know nobody, no one, nothing, barely know how to get around. You know, I did have a vehicle.
That's good.
And so I would, I started working, and I was like, used to go and stay in my car. I joined a gym membership. Never went to work out. I would go to shower. I would go to the gym, shower, go back, sleep in my car, go to work, go to the gym, shower, go to my car, because I was determined to make it work.
That's right.
You know, I didn't tell my mom,
By any means
I didn't tell
necessary.
family,
No.
I didn't tell friends, because I was embarrassed.
Of course.
I was embarrassed.
Of course.
I was too embarrassed to tell anybody that I'm sleeping in my car. You know, even I would come to work every day. And
smile.
Even my manager said right now, she was like, never in a million years would I imagine that you were going through that. Because it never came off. But it was because I was so used to masking it. Till when I'm in public, at church, everywhere. You know, I have my iron in my trunk. I would go to the gym, iron, go to church. You know, but one thing I always remember, every time I went to church, I gave everything to him.
That's right.
You know, gave it all to him.
That's right.
But then I doubted God, because I'm wondering, how is it that you brought me out here? I was living good back in Texas. How did you bring me out here to have me living in my car? I felt like I was at the lowest of the low. I was like, I couldn't get no lower than where I was. And there were many days I cried. I prayed and I cried and prayed and cried, and I just felt like God had just left me. I felt He had abandoned me. I felt I was hopeless. No one cared enough. But then and I remember doing a journal. And when I started writing a journal, every day I would come and write in my journal. And as I look into my journal, which my journal led to me writing a book.
See, it has purpose
about my life, which the name of it was Working Against Time. And then I colon Blurred Visions. And the reason they were blurred visions is because as I read through what I was writing, I was a hopeless, insecure man with no vision.
So that's good. That's good.
So
that's why the vision was blurred.
It was blurred.
And then a lot of times when we make these moves, everything works out for the best.
Always.
Everything works out for the best. You being in the car, you leaving home, and a lot of times God puts us in a position where we can sit still and we can hear. Because
Absolutely.
I've been in that position
Absolutely.
where he's blocked me off and locked me away from everybody
Yes.
except my
Yes.
immediate children.
Yes.
And he said, everything that you go through, ups, downs, good, bad, and ugly, share with your kids.
Absolutely.
And I said, oh God, I'm so embarrassed.
Absolutely.
You know, he took my cars away to where I had to walk to work at 5 in the morning. I'm sitting in the garage, they're in the house having a good time. I'm sitting in the garage crying and praying.
Yeah.
Like, Lord, I don't even have money to feed the kids.
Absolutely.
And I kid you not, I stepped out my car, Michael, this warm wind blew, and $50 just blew right past my feet. And he said, I got
Wow.
you. And I picked it up and I just sat there and I ran in the house screaming. The kids looked at me and they was like, they already knew. Because I just gave God everything I have. But during those moments where he took everything away from me so that I can hear him and be totally restored to him and not give him a piece of me, a little bit here, a little bit there, to give homage to him totally instead of giving him just pieces of myself. He wanted me whole, so I had to be broken to be whole.
Absolutely.
And I mean, when I picked up that $50, I was so good. And then the car was broke, but it started that day. And we creeped down the alleys to the store in the dark. I got the kids what they needed, but he supplied my needs.
Yes, he will.
In spite of
Yes,
the
he
darkness
will.
that we're looking at.
Yes.
Like you said, in spite of it all.
In spite of it all.
He still
In spite
got us
of it all.
covered. It's purpose in our pain.
It is. And sitting in that car, I would sit there and I would just think, I was like, but God began to, he began to talk to me and tell me, I put you here for a reason.
Yes.
Because I need you at a place where you can't say that nobody did it but me.
You better say that again.
Nobody did it but me.
Yes.
Because I will always look for somebody else to help me.
Yes.
And God is saying, I'm closing every door because I need you to realize that nobody did it but me.
Yes.
I don't share my glory.
Oh, and that's it right there. That's the position that when he puts us in that position and breaks us down to the point, and he only does it because he loves us so, and because he has destiny on our lives. And see, now when you've been in that broken, in that dark place, but always have that hope in the back of your head, you can always look back when it's dark in the front of me. I can look back and say, there's hope.
There is hope.
And I like God, and God has given me a ministry of hope. And I say hope, and the acronym is Hold On, Pain Ends. This pain is going to end.
Absolutely.
Especially when you have destiny and a calling on your life. Destiny and calling is going to come together.
Absolutely.
And that's going to just make big time ministry.
Absolutely. And you got to keep pushing, keep going.
Gosh.
The one thing God never wants you to do is turn back.
That's it.
He don't want you to turn back. He wants you to keep going. And you know, you may this may not be the last time.
Right. Oh no, yeah.
You hit your head.
Oh yeah.
You know, but he wants you to keep going.
And every time you hit your head, you're gonna come out with a bigger story.
Absolutely.
You're gonna come, and the funny part is when your history starts calling, you're looking and you're like, oh wait, but that looked good, that felt good back then, but it doesn't feel as good as where you are right now. It's not, because even to this day, and I'm going to say it, I am running into things that wants to call me back to what I used to be and what I used to do. And I sat at the table just yesterday and I said, I hear you calling. It used to feel good, it used to look good, but I see a bigger destiny. And if I give in to this little appetizer over here that's tapping on my shoulder, I'm going to miss the 7-course meal that God has for me. And I'm standing at the door, and I'm waiting for that door to open, because it's going to open.
It absolutely is.
And I don't want to walk in that door with dirt on my feet.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm shaking the dust off from yesterday.
Absolutely.
And all these whispers about what you're missing, what you don't have, what you can't have. Baby, when I get it, I'm gonna share the story with you. That's all I'm doing.
Because you know, when I was listening to you, when you were saying your I ams.
Yes.
And the one thing I remember is that I always remind myself is that I am here.
Yes.
I am here. No matter what I went through, no matter how bad it got, I'm still here.
I'm here.
And because I'm here,
God
has purpose for me because he allowed me to be here.
That's right.
You know, even though I may not be where I want to be, but I'm here. You know, some people, you know, in my days and generation, they're not even making it past, even making it to
here. They're not.
They're not making it to
they're
here.
Not. Even my 18-year-old, she's lost. I can count on one hand how many friends she's lost at 18.
They're not making it to here.
Back in my days, being like Mama's age, I can't count the friends that I lost on one hand, because if I did lose a few, it's because they were born with like heart problems or something like that, and it happened. But then as I was a teenager, that's when the gangbanging really started. So I started losing a lot of friends that way. But it was to street violence. And see, in you guys' age, you millennials, it's just...
And they're not making it to here. And that's why I always, every day, I tell myself, I'm here. Thank you, God, I'm here.
Yes.
You know, I cry, but I'm here.
Yes.
You know, I'm still struggling some days, but I'm here.
Yes.
And a lot of people are not making it to here.
They're not.
You know, and when I was in my car and I used to pray to God and say, you know, God, what's going on? I remember one day I heard Fantasia sing a song that says, it was necessary.
Necessary, that's right. Your necessary got you to your here.
It was necessary that got me to my
here. And see, I'm gonna add that too, Michael. Thank you. You're adding to my I am. So y'all, we're gonna add I'm here. And what's your here? Let's do that. You know, I'm a teacher at heart, so you know what, you guys, write down I'm here. And what's your here? Write your here down. Tell yourself what your here is, because you said something that stuck with me earlier, is you've always known that there's something and you're going after it. That's your here.
That's your here.
You're here. So you're yesterday, you're now.
Absolutely.
What's your here?
Absolutely. And as long as I'm here, my destiny still will go forward.
It's still within reach.
It's still within reach.
Still within reach.
And a lot of people forget they're here.
Yes.
You know, we complain about everything that's going on around us, but we forget, God, I'm here.
Yes. And the frustration and the blurred vision.
Absolutely.
It blinds you from your here.
Absolutely.
So you're here. You have to climb up that H and look over that hump and say, wait a minute, but I'm here.
But I'm here.
Yeah. So that blurred vision through the tears, because our tears are, I'm learning, our tears are prayers.
Yes, it is.
Our tears are being collected. They're being spread on the sheet. And those prayers are being read. And they're being acknowledged. Your tears don't even go wasted. When you serve a God like we serve, not even your tears go wasted. So all those tears that mothers have cried, children have cried, even my kids losing their friends, and friends come up listening, all kind of stuff. And we have to even be on our knees even more.
Absolutely.
I spent an hour on my knees yesterday just crying out to God for my family and my children. My 5-year-old came in and jumped on my back. I'm like, look, dude, this is enough for being on my knees and have your 60-pound. He's like 50 pounds and he's 5, and this boy's like 4 feet tall. So he jumped on my back, but I said, I'm not even going to let that distract me from staying in the presence of my Father. And I cried. He said, Mommy, I need you to stop crying. I didn't say nothing. I was, son, just please get off of me. You're hurting me here. So I stayed in my Father's face for an hour, just crying out and thanking him for what he's doing in my life and in my children's life. And see, as a praying parent, now I understand why Big Mama prayed the way she prayed. Why she walked around the house singing these Kojic songs. I grew up Kojic. So I could hear her in the kitchen singing. I said, why is this old woman just singing? Why is she doing this and that? Mama, I now know.
Now you know.
I now know. And it's not just crying out for my family, but for the people I know, the new people I meet. And it's really funny because I found myself in the kitchen just standing in front of the microwave, just calling God, praying and thanking him for everything, even the stuff I don't understand. It's going to either come into play now or it's going to come into play when I see you.
Absolutely.
So however that's going to happen, it's going to come into play. And you're here. You're here.
You're here.
I like that. You're here.
It's here. And like I said, a lot of times we are so consumed, as you said, with the blurred visions, with the blurred people, blurred situations. We never really stop for a moment and say, but God, I'm here.
Yeah. That's what hope and faith says.
That's what it says.
I'm here. Let's concentrate on the here, everybody. We're going to concentrate on the here.
Absolutely.
Boy, I am fighting back tears up in this place. I love this man sitting next to me. Thank you, Miss Rhonda. I am fighting back the tears. This is an amazing man, and your testimony is just amazing. Trust me, Mama Alicia got plans. So the here. So we want to work on our here. Keeping it real, family. Let's work on our here.
Work on the here.
Because the village that God is allowing me to build, you guys are some amazing people. I have met some people sitting in this chair and have come on this show that has changed my life, and you're one of them. You're one of you, adding to my destiny. Now I'm going to be able to look at my here in a whole different way. The blurred vision, you can go somewhere with that. The pain and all that stuff, you can go somewhere with that because I'm here. So that means a lot to me. We are here. We're here today with Mr. Michael Fountain, and we're talking about all the glory that came from his homelessness.
Absolutely.
So your emptiness was really vision building.
Absolutely.
Purpose building.
Absolutely.
Destiny building.
Absolutely.
It was strengthening you.
Yes.
To take on. Let's talk about some of the stuff that you've done while being homeless. While being homeless, Michael didn't just sit still. Michael volunteered at a number of places. He showed kindness to others. Yes. He inspired others. Yes. He continued to encourage others. And the one thing that I have learned that will change your hopeless situations is to serve others.
To serve. And I always try to, every day, I always tell myself I may not be perfect. Right. But I'm trying to be more like Christ.
That's right.
And the one thing Christ always did was serve.
That's right. All the time.
He always served.
Without saying a word.
Without saying a word. Or didn't expect anything.
That's
didn't
right.
have no expectations.
Yes.
He did it.
Yes.
And so when I'm volunteering at the hospitals or sitting on panels talking with young men and young women, yes, and speaking with the veterans, and letting them know that it's not done. It's not over.
Nope.
You're keep hope alive.
Yes.
It's as President Obama once said, the audacity of hope.
Yes, the audacity of I love it. Hope. Yes.
And which is a great novel. So another novel which is going to come out first that I did, which is called Trails of Blood.
Okay.
And what it is it gives opportunity for veterans who went to war to tell their stories. Let them tell their stories, because a lot of times when listening to the ones that have problems with PTSD and things of that nature, the one thing they never want to do is tell their story.
Right.
So I'm giving it the opportunity where you may not be able to talk about it, but write it down.
Write about it, yes.
Because even when I was in my car and I couldn't speak to nobody, I can write it.
Yes, and that frees us from the pressures of what we've been through. And what we've been through and we survived is for somebody else.
Absolutely.
Those stories are for somebody else. And I have a heart for veterans. I have a friend that's a veteran right now, and this man is a multi-millionaire. He's walking the street with just his military pants on, no shirt, hair down to here, just screaming and walking. Now, before the crash of the economy, me and this man would stand at the gas station, would meet at the same time every day and talk to each other. He would tell me how he was in the Navy. He did this, he did that. He had companies here and companies there. And then after the crash, I would look and I'm like, wait a minute, is that? And he's walking the street just screaming. But it's the frustration. It's a frustration on the inside. And people look at him like, oh, he's dirty, he's crazy. No, this man is not. He showed me his homes and everything. He took medicine for the PTSD a little bit to get everything together. But the stuff you guys go through is stuff we'll never go through. We'll never understand the depth of what you saw.
Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to give them the opportunity to tell their story.
Yes.
Like the Bible says, when it comes to your vision, write it down and make it plain.
All the time.
You've got to. So some people when I've gone to these meetings, and I was one of those that had to go to those meetings because of the anxiety and the sleepless nights that I had. And when I would listen to them, I would say, you know what? I never wanted to talk about it, but I was okay with writing about it.
Yes.
So I said, if I'm like that, I'm sure there were other veterans, and I've met several veterans who would never talk about it, but they don't mind writing about it.
There you go.
And they're putting their stories in the book that I'm compiling, and they're just, and when I tell you they're so open, nothing has been held back.
Just let it out.
But like I tell them always that this is it may not be a part for you, but this is for somebody else who's coming up behind you.
Right.
That's gonna need your story.
That's right. That's right.
To let them know that they're gonna make it through.
Yes, and to make it through, because my my stepfather, one of my first stepfather, he served in World War II.
Absolutely.
And we could hear him in the room with my mom, just jumping up, making machine gun sounds, and just screaming in his sleep. And we would all just sit and we would pray for him,
It's
like
real.
God help him.
It's real.
But the stuff he went through, we'll never know.
It's real.
Instead of drinking coffee. Big Daddy would come up and, I mean, he'd have like an ounce of coffee in the cup with a gang of vodka. And he just walked. This is his morning medication to help himself get together to go to work. And he worked and took care of my mom and us, but he had to take that to help him.
And you know, with me and being very candid and very open, you know, some people convert to violence, and some people convert to alcohol, and you know, drugs. With me, it was sex.
Yeah. It's always find some form of pacifying our pain.
That's all. I needed something to make me feel good.
Yeah, to make it and to let it out. And for my stepfather, it was the vodka and an ounce of coffee. You smell it when he's walking through the kitchen. You're like, oh, there go Dad. You know. So, but this is how he dealt with that pain every morning. And then with my ex-husband, he would be laying there and start swinging. I'm like, dude, you know, I had to play duck and roll because it was serious.
It's real.
That military mind
is real, and I tell anybody who's out there who's dealing with someone who's been in that situation. It's real.
It's real.
And that is nothing that someone is putting on.
Nope.
When you have experienced and seen some of the things that we've seen over there, it's that in itself is hard to come back to adjust to a life that you've never done that before. And I mean, even now, I'm great, you know, because I have a strong spiritual background, and you know, I'm so grounded, you know, in Christ, you know. But even sometimes I still have the flashbacks.
Of course.
I still have, you know, the anxiety that kicks in, like, oh my God, when you put in certain situations and you don't even know if you're gonna make it out.
That's right.
You know.
And see, that even happens with those of us that haven't been to the military, but just living and growing up in South Central. I love my people. I grew up in South Central, and I have a heart for Compton. Those people still deal with PTSD, but they deal with it from a street view.
Absolutely.
Because we had to run home in the evening so that we wouldn't get caught up in the gang violence after school. I had to meet my brothers and sisters on a certain corner and say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, we're all together, let's go. You know, if we could hop the bus, we would hop the bus. If we see the fighting going on the bus, we'd run home. And I mean, we had like 14 blocks to hit before we get home. That's how we learned how to hit it and quit it over the fence in 3 hits, man. But we had to hit it.
I tell people all the time, if you've never been through it, you don't understand it.
You don't understand it.
You know, so I can relate to those guys when it comes to those situations, and that's why I always have a heart and a passion to talk to them and go to these forums and sit on these panels and go to these leadership conferences and just talk to them and tell them, you know, that just to draw awareness.
Yes, that's right.
Because so that people can understand that these people actually have suffered. Yes. Suffered because of they want to make your life better. Yes. And we look at those people and sometimes we often, you know, push them to the side.
Turn our noses up.
But like you said earlier, we fight so that you're able to do that.
That's right.
So
we're able to do that.
So sometimes that's why I say, think about, you know, it's always good to give back to, you know, veterans. And if sometimes just seeing a veteran just saying, thank you for your service.
That's right. Thank you.
They love that.
Thank you goes a long way.
Ways.
And see, we as a country, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, we need to get better in our service of our veterans.
Absolutely.
Because it is so sad that the people that serve so that I can be free are now in bondage to what they set out to do good for us. Now has become their cage.
It's almost like you leave this country to go fight a war, and you come back and you're fighting another war.
Here.
You're fighting another war.
And then you come back and you're You're disheartened. You're brokenhearted.
You're broken.
Because the person that you went to stand for, to
Absolutely.
pledge allegiance
Absolutely.
to protect.
Absolutely.
It's like a husband protecting his
Absolutely.
wife. You guys went to protect the United States of
Absolutely.
America, and we turned our back on you.
Absolutely.
We hurt you. We disappointed you. We left you desolate. That's what we've done
Absolutely.
to our veterans. In America, we have to get better. We have to change that.
Absolutely.
We cannot treat the men and women who went to serve for us like side chicks. Because that's what we do. We treat them like side
We pimp
chicks.
them.
There you go.
That's the word.
So we need to stop
It's
that.
almost like veterans are being pimped.
That's it. And it's not fair. Because
It's
if it
not.
wasn't for you, we would be like other countries.
Absolutely.
We would be in bondage.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't be able to go to the grocery store, to Walmart, to pick up our food.
Absolutely.
You have your times, your vouchers, and you better get it back together.
And not only that, but you wouldn't be able to serve this great God
No.
that we serve.
Not
You're
at all.
being told
You'll be dead.
who to serve
That's
and,
right.
and what to do and
That's
how
right.
you're going to do
That's
it.
right.
You know, so the freedom that we have
Yeah.
is an amazing
Yes.
freedom that we
Yes.
have, because like I said, going into different countries, they don't have those freedoms.
Right. And see, we're taking our veterans for granted. So we have to get better at that, you guys. And so I am going to join you in the fight for our freedom, for
Praise
our
God.
veterans.
Praise God.
So whatever you need me to do, you know, perform, you call me,
Amen.
and I'm with you. Because I'm all about freedom. I'm all about hope. And I watched it in my own family with my stepfather and my ex-husband. It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts.
It does.
Because first of all, the kids didn't know if Daddy was going to Desert Storm. I sit up watching news, crying and screaming and crying with a brand new 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I'm like, oh God, what's going to happen? So that fear of the wife that's left
Absolutely.
home, or either the fear of the husband that's left
Absolutely.
home, because I know ladies that's out there that's doing their thing, and you know what? Salute to you two women
Absolutely.
who've left their
Oh,
children
Absolutely.
to go serve this country, to make it
Absolutely.
better for their families
Absolutely.
at home.
Most definitely.
It's hard as a woman to, like I said, let your children go live somewhere else.
Absolutely.
But just
Imagine.
to imagine.
Absolutely. And not knowing if they're ever coming back.
And I know. Living with the hope that they will return
Absolutely.
and return as whole as possible. Because sometimes
Absolutely.
they return and it's a totally different person.
Totally different.
Am I, as a family member, ready to receive this person who's returned back to my home?
And am I doing or getting the knowledge of what I need to embrace when they do come home? What I need to do and how is it that because it's a transition.
It is a transition.
And are you helping them by going to sit with them and going to these meetings with them and listening to them? Actually, the one thing that you can do that a lot of people don't do is listen.
Yeah.
Just listen to them. If I'm one of those people where I sit and I listen and I observe, and it's kind of like you being a boss at your job, and you know whenever your coworkers come in and they're having a bad day or it's a sad day, because you know it. You know your people.
Yes.
So it's kind of like the same way when it comes to family and those veterans that's coming home. It's like you should know when that person, because you know this person.
That's right.
I see signs that's not of them.
Something's wrong.
So let me talk to them. Let me see what I can do
That's right.
to actually help them.
That's right. And get to know the new person.
Get to know the new person.
The one thing that got me is when the kid's dad left, we were teenagers out of school.
Yes.
When he came back, he was grown.
It was different.
And experienced the whole 4 years of something
Absolutely.
that I had no idea.
Absolutely.
Just the phone calls, the letters, and the cards I got, but I still wasn't there physically.
And you expect them to be the person they were when they left.
And
they're
was a
not.
whole different
They're
person.
not.
I said, oh my God.
And that's what many of the soldiers in the stories, that it's always family issues, which even drives them further over the edge, because they don't have that support.
That's right.
And it's like they are so, when they come back, the mothers, the wives, the kids are expecting them to be the person they were when they left,
and they're not.
And they're not.
No.
And it's very important, as you said, that we need to get to know the person that came back.
That's right. So therefore, we need to build a village of knowledge for the families that's left here, for the sons, for the daughters, for the wives, mothers, and fathers.
Absolutely.
We need to know something about what they know.
Absolutely.
So, and we need to be prepared to help them, to undergird them, to receive them for the new person that they are. Because you're 18 or 17 and you go in a whole nother freedom.
Absolutely.
You're a grown man. You're a grown woman for real.
Absolutely.
Most
definitely.
With armor in your hand. You know what I'm saying? You can take a life
Absolutely.
At an age where you just left mama's house two rooms from her.
Absolutely. Or
and
watching
now all
friends
of a sudden you
get
can take a
gunned
life.
down.
Yeah.
Or having to carry them out.
Yeah.
Or watching them get blowed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hard.
That's hard. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's why it's always said, are you my brother's keeper? Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
Because you may not survive.
That's right. Even here in the streets of LA, we have to be our
to.
brother's keeper.
You have to.
We have to.
And you know, I always say, you know, it seemed like I went to war for the country and come back and I'm still going to war. Here I am, educated, undergrad, a master's degree, you know, very, you know, very well spoken. You know, I'm looking at all these things about myself and I'm still homeless.
Yeah.
How is that possible? I'm sitting here like, Lord, what is it? You know, and then I still trust God, true enough, and I'm sitting here like, but God, I think that like I've done all this, you know, but I can remember, and the reason I'm so passionate and inspired of helping people is because I remember when I was laying in my car one night, I had a dream. I was walking down the street with my texting on my cell phone, and as I'm looking at it, it was daytime. And as I'm walking, I can see that it was some black clouds begin to almost like circular, begin to close in. You know, I'm texting, looking up like, what's going on? You know, but still walking and texting. And then to the point where it was getting darker and darker, to the point where it completely, the whole earth just became dark. And when it became dark, then all of a sudden, light starts shining through the darkness, and as the light starts shining, it started opening back up, and literally Jesus himself, it was like he was coming down. It was so bright you couldn't see the face, but you knew who it was.
You
so
feel the glory.
I'm seeing people just being lifted up, and being raptured up, and I can remember being raptured up myself. So I'm going in and I'm praising and I'm thanking God for everything. And then as I get closer to him, he gets bigger and bigger, right? So as soon as I make it to him, he opens up his mouth and swallows me.
Wow.
And I'm like, Lord, what in the world? He done swallow me? Like, what am I doing in this world that caused him to, you know, swallow me? Because the one, you know, the verse I was thinking about, I don't want God to swallow me and spit me out.
That's right.
You know, so I want to know, like, Lord, please don't spit me out. Like, what's going on? And I fall into his belly, but I was so afraid. I woke up and I'm sweating and I'm crying like, Lord. So I called my mom, and that's why I said, I thank God that I have a spiritual and a praying mother, and I began to tell her the dream, and I told her, and she was like, you already know what it means. She said, you know what it means. She was like, because your life has been spoken over. You know what it means. She said, and don't look at it as if he ate you up. He consumed you. He said, and when he consumed you, you fell in his belly. That's where his word is. The word is in his belly. Because from your belly shall flow life, living water.
There it is.
And so she was, and so when she began to tell me that, and I began to praise God, like, you know what? Thank God, because had I told someone else who didn't have the vision,
really? He killed you, made it negative,
and it would have took me on a different path.
Of course, but see that's mama.
Absolutely,
I tell you, and that's because when you have a praying parent, we'll say parent, because sometimes there's some fathers out there that hit the target.
Absolutely,
man. They be going in.
Absolutely.
So with that, if you have a praying parent.
Absolutely.
Even when you send your child off to college,
absolutely,
to war, to serve the country, whatever the case may be, and you have trust in God, you have faith in God, and you hold on to his unchanging hand, everything will be okay.
It will. I can recall when before my father passed away, you know, I felt that God had betrayed me by taking him away because, you know, because my father was on drugs for maybe like 22 years. I'm not talking about a couple years.
Right,
no. 22 years. Yes. That's a long time of seeing everything that's happening to your life in 22 years. And the 2 years before he died, he got saved and delivered. And it was such a blessing. So when he died, you know, everybody was sad. And I said, I'm not sad because I didn't pray to God that my dad was healed. Even though I knew that we serve a healing God.
That's right.
I pray that my dad gets delivered.
There it is.
And he did it. And whenever God will remind me when I got depressed, when my dad died, I got real depressed. And God said, but I gave you what you asked for.
That's right.
You asked for his deliverance, and I gave
it to you. That's it. And see, you guys, we're going to wrap this up. And as you see, I told you to hold on. I told you we were going for a ride. Man, and y'all know me. I'm not the roller coaster rider, but when I sit in this seat, I ride. And I ride for the whole hour.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you, sir. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest. I love it.
Such a pleasure.
See, and that's like I tell everybody, just hold on, pain ends.
Absolutely.
That's the acronym for hope. That's the ministry that I'm going to continue to say until the rapture. Until he changes it. That's what we're going to end with today. Thank you guys for taking the ride with me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for just holding on. Thank you for knowing today that I'm here.
I'm here.
We're going to add that to our statements of I ams, and know, keeping it real, family, that I am here and so are you.
Absolutely.
And Michael's here, and we're going to do some more work together.
Absolutely.
So, with that said, thank you guys for joining us today, and hold on, pain ends. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Have a good Saturday.
Be blessed.